Hey everybody, my name is Wyatt and I'm Ferda Tunes, and on September 16th I had the utmost pleasure of seeing Shy Girl, Troye Sivan, and the one and only Charli XCX for their Sweat Tour at Place Bell in Montreal. This was my second time seeing Charli, first time being the Crash Tour about 2 years ago, which I also did a very thorough video on if you're interested in a more general video on just Charli. This video is going to highlight more so what's so special about this tour, seeing Troye Sivan and watching the whole joint tour play out, set list, things like that, because as much as I loved the Crash Tour and felt like she pulled out all of the stops that she needed to, this is a whole other beast. Being that this is a stadium tour, I assume their first headlining tour for either of them, which, like, perfect timing considering how successful Brat has been this year. Speaking of which, I did a video when that dropped. You should go check that out as well. My girlfriend and I planned a weekend trip out to Montreal around this concert, and before we get into everything, I just gotta say, holy fuck, I had a blast. We got really lucky out the gate with well-priced general admission tickets. I had never been in general admission on the floor for a stadium show. I've always wanted to be, and jeez, look at the kid! Bro, I was so happy. Holy fuck. It was virtually everything I've dreamed of. Oh yeah, the merch went crazy too, obviously. The crowd was filled with beautiful people, no crazy crowding or obnoxious people that I saw anywhere throughout the entire show. Now, personal space is key, and I think that makes it so much more enjoyable. Any concert, really. Just being actually able to dance around and not just kind of jump in one spot, bouncing off of mans. So shout out the Montreal crowd. I'm gonna have to come back, man. I love that damn city. Now getting into it, the ever so wonderful Shy Girl opened up for them, and as awesome as she was, I felt like it ended with me wanting more. Now that is definitely a good thing for an opener, and I do rock with Shy Girl heavy, and maybe it's just because she didn't do Firefly, my favorite fucking song, or maybe since she didn't really feel utilized to really blow the roof off of a whole stadium. The lighting and effects were great, she did everything she could do, but some songs did just kind of feel like her backup dancers and a visualizer behind them, and that was kind of it. She still absolutely crushed it with what she had, and I have no complaints, really. Maybe I just had higher hopes to really be blown away by her set, but I think I'd have to see her in a smaller, more intimate venue to get that experience. Either way, near perfect opening act, especially in terms of sound and style. Leading up to the concert, and being that this was only the second show on the entire tour, I guess I just assumed that it would be Troye Sivan's set and then Charli XCX's set, but they did something very interesting for a joint tour, which I think was just wonderful. I'm sure everyone knows by now, but they basically like tagged each other out the whole set. Troye would do 2, 3, 4 songs, and then Charli would come back out and Troye would cut to the back, going back to Troye, back to Charli, back to Troye, like every 3 to 4 songs. It was vastly entertaining, really. They obviously played some of their collabs and shared the stage towards the end, which made it hype, but other joint tours I've seen typically just decide who is going to play their set first, like the Pet Shop Boys and New Order show I covered a few years ago. And personally, being a much bigger fan of Charli than I am Troye Sivan, it was still more than entertaining watching them swap out every other few songs, and it really kept things interesting the entire time. Now, personally, being a much bigger fan of Charli than I am Troye Sivan, and I hate to be that guy, but I always think of the people who are only there for Charli or vice versa. But I don't know why, I like thinking of the people that like aren't super into it like I usually am. But when Troye came back on, it was kind of the perfect signal for people to, you know, run to the bathroom, run and grab that next drink. You know, I hate saying that because it's like, yo, just miss the show, like who fucking cares? But there are people like that, and I always think it's admirable when artists kind of do that thing where it's like, all right, like go to the bathroom now, we're taking 5 minutes, or you know what I mean? I stayed the whole set, like I was locked the fuck in. I didn't stop dancing the whole time, but you know, some people are like that. It's nice to be considerate for him. Troye Sivan started his set with You Just Got Me Started, a song I was really hoping he would play because hearing that sample ring through the stadium was blissful and kind of hilarious. He immediately brought plenty energy and dance with his backup dancers as well. I could tell right away that he would be sliding on that stage like a pro the whole night. Charli popped out of the brat curtains not too long after, bringing an insane amount of energy straight out the gate with the 365 remix with Shy Girl.
You fucking ready or what? Make some fucking noise for Shy Girl.
I don't think there'd be a better way for her to make an entrance and just say, like, bitch, I'm here. To do Von Dutch as well so early on into the show was an interesting choice, but I think it was, again, just to get everyone into a frenzy and just really ready the crowd for, like, if you were unprepared or unaware of what was about to happen, tune the fuck in, because we're here. And from there on, it was about as expected. Again, every 3 to 4 songs, Troy would come back out and they'd swap. They did a lot of very interesting play with the screens and the effects, taking the camera crew backstage with them and underneath the stage while performing and shit like that. It was pretty cool. It felt like a musical roller coaster of endurance, because some of Troy's more serene, poppy songs kept you rocking and still on your toes for when Charli came back out. With momentum building the entire show, I felt like they both matched each other's energy perfectly in the second half of the show. I mean, as much as Troy can. He was an amazing performer and had a great set list, don't get me wrong at all. I just felt like when it came to the energy level and the sweat tour, which, you know, I'm thinking energy, I'm thinking endurance, I'm thinking I'm about to get a cardio workout while enjoying this concert, which the fuck I did. It did just kind of feel like Troye Sivan was playing catch up with Charli the whole time in terms of, again, just energy and endurance. Which, you know, I don't blame him. I'm not like taking a points away from his set because, you know, that's not really his department, but it's kind of the nature of the tour, no? You're gonna call it the sweat tour, I'm gonna assume you know what I'm saying. He saved Rush until the end, and that popped the fuck off, but I couldn't help but feel like every time Troy came back out, it was a bit of a breather for me. It was a little, you know, let me catch my breath, which can't be mad at. It was needed. Again, I'm not trying to say anything more because he killed it. I just felt like there could have been a bit more wall-to-wall energy unleashed. Maybe that's just me though, and to be fair, he has a much more strictly pop sound when you look at his discography. There was quite a few songs that I didn't know, admittedly. Just wanted to point that out as a quick observation. In terms of a hype standpoint, sure, he was no match for Charli. Even Charli didn't have many moments at all that were toned down or more ethereal and vibey. 99% of her time on stage was spent going real hard as fuck. Even Everything Is Romantic, the skull-knocking first half of that song was extended and chopped up and... I need that remix yesterday. Oh my god. I've been watching that video over and over and over. It's one of my favorite Charli songs ever at this point, and that shit just had me tweaking. And the second half was easily the most beautiful, serene, euphoric moments of the whole show. And this is coming right after Troy doing One of Your Girls. Like, oh, the sequencing was just beautiful. Got my whole body feeling tingly and restless. Oof. Maybe the biggest highlight for me was Sympathy Is a Knife. I couldn't believe how hard the chords smacked and pierced through the whole stadium. With the strobes and lighting effects, just so fucking overwhelming in the best way. It was just stunning. Apple was super fun, of course. I butchered that fucking dance. Thank God it wasn't me up on the Jumbotron. They would have had to carry me out the emergency exit. I would have not been having it. Now, before their encore, they finished off with a simply perfect performance of 1999, utilizing the stage layout better than ever before. speaking of the stage, it had a pretty cool layout. It was like kind of like disjointed screens. It wasn't like perfectly symmetrical. I don't know, I just thought that was cool. Now let's talk about the set list, because I saw quite a few people on Reddit that were complaining about the set list, and part of me kind of gets it, but also like, grow the fuck up, really. Like, I will agree it is very odd there isn't a single song from Crash or How I'm Feeling Now. Just those albums don't fucking exist at this tour. Not even like Visions or Anthems. Anthems to me sounds more Brat than some of the songs on Brat. I felt like that would have been a no-brainer for a set list for a tour like this. Other than that, I don't have any complaints really. She did virtually every song on Brat. No, back to back, B2B. How the fuck are you not gonna do that? It's one of the singles. Very questionable decision there. I was so excited to hear that beat drop and the progression leading into it. It's so good in the stadium. Oh, it would have smacked. But I knew not to question Charli's set list when we saw the Crash tour and she did literally every single song on Crash. It's like, all right, just do your thing, I guess. I'm gonna have a time and a half regardless. Like, I don't care, but there's just some head scratchers when you really think about it. Also ending with the quite literally brand new Talk Talk remix with Troye Sivan is an interesting choice. It literally came out like 2 days before the show. Low-key, it kind of felt like promo, but whatever, I can't be mad at it. The remix album's coming, and it does kind of slap, so. But, oh, also, 2099. I know that's not a big hit for either of them whatsoever, but re-listening to that song after the show, I was thinking, what the fuck? Like, this shit sounds perfect for the vibe of this tour, no? Even if you just mixed in the chorus a little bit as an interlude or something, I just felt like that shit would have smacked. I hate to say all this and it sounds like I'm bitching and complaining, but it's just a few questionable decisions. Either way, I would rush to see this show again if I had the chance. Easily top 3 most fun concerts I've ever been to. Just pure, unfiltered fun. The singing along, the constant dancing, the vibes were just unbeatable. If you have the chance to see this tour while it's on, please do. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. I want to say more, but I feel like I've covered everything I need to. It's sort of exactly what I expected and hoped for. They delivered tenfold. If you've gone to this tour so far, please let me know your favorite song, moment, you New York bastards got Addison Rae and Lorde brought out to you on a silver platter. Fuck. I got fucking Duolingo in the crowd next to me, so that was hype. I'm just talking shit now. But if you plan on going to this tour, let me know which date, and any questions at all, leave a comment. I'm always down to talk. Speaking of which, y'all should join the Discord. We got over 200 Ferda family members. Come talk to some really cool people about some really cool music. You guys can support the channel on Patreon. Links in the description. It really helps us out. You know, we're planning, we're coming back. I know I've been saying that for about 4 fucking years now, ever since I started the channel, but holy fuck, man, I don't know how to keep up with life. I got real depressing real fast. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. Links in the description. Subscribe to stay tuned, and much love.